you asked for 13, you're gonna get 13 and then some. I tried to keep all of these fairly short, but I have a lot of feelings, okay? I love all of these people. So we ended up, I had 13 ships and 15 honorable mentions because this list kept growing, and I decided that because anime was taking up a really big chunk of this list in the first draft, anime and manga will get its own list next week. So hopefully you guys are excited about this. So here we go. So here we go. 13 of my favorite couples ever. Alright, so number 13 is Zuko and Katara from Avatar: The Last Airbender. I can just feel my big goofy smile on my face because I've loved this couple for so long. This is probably my first fanon ship that I was like completely like, this is gonna happen, they're gonna fall in love, it's gonna be great, and then it didn't happen. I actually got into Zutara by accident. I was reading a quote from the Waterbending Scroll with the "I'll save you from the pirates," and I kind of sensed a sexual tension that was not there. Or was it? Either way, I ended up watching the show, and Zuko and Katara was not a thing, but I love them. Like, the opposites attract thing is part of it, but I loved the duality of the two of them. I love the idea of like the sun and the moon. I just love how they play off each other. They just both had this kind of like passion and animosity and this anger, and they would learn, like, their moves would mirror each other. It just was like, I was so about it. Like, I was just completely and utterly hooked. And I will say this, I don't hate Karang, I don't hate Meiko, but I just always feel that Zuko and Katara made sense, and I just wanted them so badly to make it work. And even now when I was watching, you know, Legend of Korra, I was like, maybe as old people, both their spouses are dead, they could, like, you know, be happy together or whatever. But either way, I don't dislike Aang or Mei, and my heart always beats for Zutara, but I also have said that it's not gonna happen. But I have fan fiction and lots of smut, so I will live on strong. The next is Arwen, Arthur Pendragon, and Guinevere from Merlin. Arthur was never good enough for Gwen. He was kind of a dick. Never just worthy of her affections, but I loved them together. Everything that was corny and cliche about it, I loved. I loved the light beaming down on their kisses. I loved every flute ornament that played when they kissed. I loved the sweet and tender way that he would just look at her, like those kind of like long glances of like, I loved it. I was here for it in every single way. Arthur saw Guinevere as this really rock of his life, and I love that Guinevere challenged Arthur even when she was a presence to do better, to understand his people more, and I felt like she helped elevate him more so than Merlin, to be the person that he was always supposed to be, that leader, that noble, because she was always there to remind him of those people, because he shut on Merlin constantly, but when Guinevere challenged him, he really did try and listen and do better, and I felt like that just made their couple just work so well. That's why I was so angry when in season 4 they did that whole stupid shit where they hypnotized Guinevere to be with Lancelot again, to do that whole love triangle thing. And it was just so frustrating because she picked Arthur. Arthur and her were solid, and they just had to throw a wrench in it for no fucking reason. And no one ever found out that she was hypnotized. He just kind of forgives her for it, even though she didn't do anything. Hating ass Morgana. And then in season 5 they hypnotized her again, and her and Arthur don't even get to kiss in the final season. The final season! No kiss between the major romance? It was just so agonizing, but still, this couple, it got me every single time. I love them. And Shirley and Gilbert Blythe from Anne of Green Gables series. This is the first couple that when I was reading a book, I was like, oh my god, I want them to be together and be happy and have babies. I just wanted it so badly. I loved Anne Shirley. She's one of my favorite literary characters of all time. Just how she, when Gilbert made her, shamed her, what do you call her, Karens and shit? She was like, okay, for life. Now we got bad blood. She was just done with him, and Gilbert in response is like, oh my god, I've ruined the best girl ever. Like, he just spends the rest of his like adolescence and adulthood trying to like make up for that one Helga G. Pataki moment of like, I want to bully you because I don't know how to express my feelings like an adult because I'm 12. And it just was so much fun to read. And then watching Anne and Gilbert grow up together and challenge each other and both be smart and brilliant and they were just really good people and they matched so well. They felt like equals, and that was just such an important thing to see at a young age, to see a couple that wasn't about brooding or angst. It was about two people who were equals intellectually and emotionally, finding their way to each other. Skallison, or Scott McCall, and Allison Argent from Teen Wolf. I will forever hate Teen Wolf for killing off Allison. I know I've never made a video about it. That's because it made me like, fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Because I hated it so much. And I love Scott and Allison because they kind of switched the dynamic of what it could be like to have a human and supernatural relationship on TV, because a lot of the time the female character was just kind of like a victim, and Allison wasn't. And when she was, she hated it. She actively fought against it. And I felt like Scott was just so sweet and romantic. I haven't seen a boy since Corey Matthews be that much of a romantic and secure in that aspect of himself, that I'm okay to tell you that I love you, that I'm the one who's interested in this, and I'm not being a stalker or being creepy. I just feel these things, and I'm telling you that openness and willing to have that love dialogue, which just, it just meant so much to me, and they were so sweet and so cute. And when they broke up in season 2, I was like, you know what, Allison is in this dark place right now. She needs to focus on her and not a boy. Totally makes sense. Then fucking Isaac came out of nowhere and has messed up everything. Everything. I like Scott and Kira, so I'm not mad at them, but Isaac ruined everything. She died because of you. Bastard. It's Nomi and Needs from Sense8. I just, from the very first moment we were introduced to the couple, I love it. You know, you have this trans woman lesbian and this bisexual black woman making love just as much as every other straight couple makes love, and it's just like, it's just so beautiful and meaningful. And I just love that Sense8 knows how to show both the world as it is and how it should be. Like, who they are, being trans, being black and bi, is an aspect of who they are. It's a part of their world. But they also manage to find the space to just be people as well. Like, they'll flirt, they'll just be make love, they'll be intimate and romantic and caring towards each other in very realistic ways and believable ways. You know, they manage to make it so that you never forget who they are, because that's important. But they're allowed to just be people. Andy and April from Parks and Rec. When I was writing this list, I was so shocked to have this be a couple that I loved so much, because in a lot of ways, I thought it was just going to be like a one-off joke, April's thing about Andy, but then they got married. I thought, okay, so they're going to like break up really quickly. And they lasted the entire rest of the series, and they were perfect. You see Andy's like childish nature and April's cynicism, and you think, how can these two things gel? But like, as much as those things are different, right in the middle is where they just meet so perfectly and just so beautiful. Like, it was just great. They were funny and engaging, and you just felt that love between them. Such genuine moments, and they were never like super sexual. Like, they would kiss and make out, but they seemed like best friends who would fall in love with each other, and that was just so perfect. Like, I thought Ben and Leslie would be the couple from Parks and Rec I would pick for right here, but no. April and Andy, they just work so friggin' well. Jackie and Hyde from That 70s Show. I will never ever forgive season 7 for giving me Fez and Jackie. The fuck is that? But Hyde and Jackie were perfect together. And the thing is, when you watch the series, you see the seeds of it from the very beginning. Because in the first season, they went to prom together. Later on, they had the Zen episode, which is just one of the best comedic episodes, using Mila Kunis and the actor who plays Hyde. I forget his name at the time. I think Dan Strong. But either way, that was so well done. And you see them just interacting and being playful with each other. It builds up. And then finally, when they end up together, what's great about it is that they both have to deal with their own insecurities. They both have to grow to be the right person for each other. It's not just automatically like, oh, we love each other, blah, blah, blah. They have sex. The sex is bomb. But they're too different. You know, Jackie is this high maintenance girl. Hyde doesn't give a fuck about anything. So they have to somehow mature enough to be able to be like, hey, I have these real feelings for you, and I don't know how to express them, but I'm trying my best. And they eventually get to this point where they really just mold well together. Like, when Jackie and Hyde break up for the first time and get back together, like, that whole arc is just so great at watching Hyde, who's so unemotional, have to be like, yeah, I love this girl, and I really want to be with her. And that is why, at the end of season 6, when Hyde is like, I'm going to do it, I'm going to be Mrs. Jackie Hyde, and I'm just like, yes! And then it's like, no, you ruined everything. Everything. It was heartbreaking, and I was pissed off. I'm still pissed off Jackie and Hyde forever. Speaking of ruined relationships, Sean and Angela from Boy Meets World. Sean and Angela was the biggest interracial romance of the late 90s, early 2000s. I'm going to be doing a video next week on the topic of interracial romance, so I'm not going to get too much into it here, but I will say this. As a kid, it was very powerful to see a black woman who did not have a perm, who was not a light bright, being the love interest of Sean Hunter, who was basically the major hottie on TV at the time. Like, everyone wanted a piece of Ryder Strong. Everybody wanted a piece of that. And we had the piece! Did it! And even though we shouldn't look to white men to validate black beauty, the fact is that you had people who were considered the most desirable and the people who were considered not together, and her being the one who was desired. Sean fought for Angela when he fucked up their relationship. He broke up with her. Let it be known. He left her, okay? And he the one who had to grovel and write poems and get her back, okay? Let it be known. So much shit. They went through alcoholism. They went through death. They went through breaking up, finding each other again, getting back together, her dad coming back, and then at the very end, Angela decides she needs to go to Europe to spend time with her father, and then the series ends. And for years we thought, you know, maybe they got back together and everything is okay. And then Girl Meets World came along and killed everything good that we had. Why? Because they wanted him to be with this white woman. I'm not gonna get into it here. That's next week. Jax Teller and Tara Knowles from Sons of Anarchy. Tara. So, for those who have never seen Sons of Anarchy, it's basically, at the beginning of the series, Jax is the vice president of a motorcycle gang known as the Sons of Anarchy, and they deal with guns. When his son is being born able to his heroin-addicted wife, he is sickly, and the person who comes in to help nurse him back to life is his ex-girlfriend, Tara Knowles, who has come back as a badass surgeon, and Jax is like, hold up, what? Why did we break up again? And basically their relationship continues throughout the show. She's escaping an abusive relationship. He's getting out of his own emotionally abusive relationship, and they are finding each other once again. And throughout the relationship between them, I think what makes them so compelling is, one, the chemistry. Like, Jax will give Tara these looks. They'll just smile at each other, and you'll just be like, this is supposed to be a show about druggies and criminals. Why are you smoldering at her right now? Turn it off, Charlie. Turn it off. It's they're so good together. But the other thing is that their relationship is also beautifully toxic. They're in two completely different places in life. Tara is a doctor, respected, you know, well-regarded, and Jax is a criminal. He is part of a group that deals guns to the IRA. They're trying to find a way to be together in a real relationship, and they're either going to drag each other down or elevate each other in some kind of way, and that's the back and forth of Jax and Tara. These two people who are madly in love, having lives that do not sync up with each other at all, but just wanting them so badly to fit because what they feel is worth all of that struggle, especially on Tara's end, because Jax can find pussy in a lot of places if he tries really, really hard to. Now, he loves Tara, but he will find the pussy if he needs it. But Tara really feels this powerful love for Jax that's only challenged later on when there are other people that she loves more brought into the picture. But number 4 is Docubus, also known as Bo Dennis and Lauren Lewis from Lost Girl. I have a lot of problems with Lost Girl. It is not the perfect show, but I love it dearly, and one of the reasons I do is because of Docubus. Throughout sci-fi and fantasy, LGBTQ couples are very rarely at the forefront. Clark from the 100 is a rarity. For her to be the main character and be bisexual, that's huge. And Lost Girl did that before that. Lost Girl had Bo, who was a bisexual succubus, finding out who she was, doing supernatural shenanigans, and along the way she had 3 love interests. Dyson, wolf penis, Lauren, hot doctor, and Tamsin, the worst Valkyrie ever. Throughout the show, it's this back and forth between who she can be with. And the one that she gravitates towards, the best person, is Lauren, the human doctor. What's interesting about this, in contrast to other couples like Elena and Stefan and all of the other bullshit, is that Lauren actually knows more about the supernatural than Bo when they first start out. Lauren is not always in danger of being a victim. She does have moments where she definitely can be, but she's also shown as very capable. She's often shown to be more knowledgeable than Bo. She's not a little ingenue. She's someone that needs to be protected, yes, but she's also a fully realized person who knows who she is, trying to do her best to survive, and is just darker in a lot of ways than either Tamsin or Dyson. When they're together, it just feels so right and so natural in a way that no one else really captures with Bo. And I think that all of the conversations that they have about, living too long, about Bo not really being sure she can have a monogamous relationship as a succubus, to the fact that they don't really know how strong Bo can be, if Bo can kill her. These are all really interesting things, and to have it done with a gay couple is a huge deal. And they end up together in the end. None of them die. Neither of them die. That is a big deal. All of us who enjoy seeing happy lesbians together remember Willow and Tara. That is what could have happened, guys. We have to be grateful for what we can get sometimes. I know the Doccubus has some flaws, but overall it was a huge step forward in terms of representation for gay couples. And I just feel like everything about it that ended up working out in the end was worth the journey that they went on. Yes, it was hard. Yes, there was duplicity. Yes, it was complicated. But it was also sweet and loving and romantic and hot as fuck. Number 3, Gabrielle and Xena from Xena the Warrior Princess. This is just the best. One of the best couples ever. I mean, you could be one of those people who thinks that they're straight. I don't know why you would want to be one of those people, because they're clearly not. But if you want to be one of those people who thinks that Xena and Gabrielle are heterosexual, okay, at the same time, they still work as number 3 on this list. They are best friends. They love each other. They have raised a child together. They have gone through hell and back. They have had musical breakups and reconciliations. They are the it couple, okay? They are just 2 of the most dynamic people put together. And I think what's really great about Xena and Gabrielle is that their love is layered. For Xena, Gabrielle is how she remembers her humanity. When Xena forgets why she's on this journey to do better and to do the right thing, she looks at Gabrielle and she sees hope and light and strength to do the right thing. And for Gabrielle, when she sees Xena, she sees the ability of what one person can do to make a difference in this world, and she says that this is someone worth traveling for. When Gabrielle thinks, what would Xena do? She can find that strength to be that better person. They just build each other up constantly, and that's what makes them better people. And any couple that can make each other better is a great couple, in my opinion. I love Jane Austen, and I like Pride and Prejudice. Okay, I know it's cliche. I know it's like the whitest thing ever, but it's okay. I know that it is, and that's really all that matters, is that I acknowledge it, okay? I get it. They're very cliche, but they are fucking amazing, and people don't know how to write them properly when they try to steal away Austen's ideas. They don't understand why we like them. Any adaptation of Pride and Prejudice I've ever, I say very loosely, I ever hated with a capital H was Lost in Austen, because it had the raw ass audacity to imply that there was someone other than Elizabeth Bennet who could be a perfect match for Mr. Darcy. Because let me tell you something, people, right now. If anyone else was going to end up with Mr. Darcy, it wouldn't be some basic chick with bangs from the future and a terrible, terrible personality. They don't deserve any happiness for that shit. What makes Mr. Darcy and Lizzie Bennet's relationship so good is not what people think it is. It's not the fact that they hate each other first and then they love each other. First of all, that's not what happens, okay? They don't hate each other. Darcy never hates Lizzie, and Lizzie doesn't hate Darcy. She finds him aggravating, but not hate. Strong dislike, but not hate, okay? And the best thing about them is that they're not together because of lust or instant attraction or any of that typical romantic cliche bullshit. Lizzie and Darcy's relationship is based on mutual respect. Yeah, mutual respect. Heathcliff, Rochester, Alex Duberville, you hear that? Mutual goddamn respect. It's not about Darcy stalking Lizzie and breaking her down slowly so that she's like, you know what? Yeah, he disrespected my family and my life and my house and my church, but he's a good man. No, that's not it. It's about learning that yes, someone can seem one way at first, but when you get to know them, they can actually be a good person and someone that you can actually share stuff with. Darcy respects Elizabeth, and that's why he falls in love with her. Elizabeth respects Darcy, and that's what makes her fall in love with him. She starts loving him not because of anything having to do with his man junk, but because of how beautiful Pemberley is and how much his staff speaks highly of him and how everyone else talks highly of him because he sees, oh, he legitimate. Okay? She be thinking. So before we get to number 1, we have a lot of honorable mentions to do. I apologize for having 15 of them, but I had a lot of feelings and I cut them out because I didn't want to have this video going for too long, but here we go are the 15 honorable mentions that didn't make the list but came really, really close, especially a couple of them. I'm sure you can figure out which ones. And yeah.
Imagine me and you, I do. I think about you day and night. It's only right to think about the girl you love and hold her tight. So happy together. If I should call you up, invest a dime, and you say you belong to me and ease my mind, imagine how the world could be so very fine, so happy together. No matter how they toss the dice, it had to be.
Number 1 is no surprise and probably the shortest one on this list because it's perfect. What can I say about it is Morticia and Gomez Addams from the Addams Family. They are perfect. They are probably the most iconic of those older TV couples because they're just so in love and happy and good in a very weird way. And I think the best adaptations of this product are the ones that understand that they're good-natured and happy people. They're just dark and kind of strange. And Morticia and Gomez have this mutual sexual appetite for each other. Like, it's not just Gomez eating Morticia. Morticia be like, hey. She be ready to go. They push and pull off of each other. And it just works so well because, again, equals mutual respect. Trend. Huh? It's like a thing I like. Weird, huh? I really think that they are probably the couple that I find the most aspirational. To have two people who are just crazy about each other, who love each other, but also see each other as partners and compatriots. That, to me, is the perfect couple. And I couldn't ask for anything else. So that was it for this week. Next week we will have the anime top picks. And I'm really excited to do that one because I forgot how much I like anime. Because sometimes I go through a phase where I watch a whole bunch of it, and then I go through a phase where it's like all I watch is Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon, and I'm like, there are other things out there, right? So thank you so much for watching. If you like, please subscribe and thumbs up, and thank you so much for all your continued support. I'll see you next week for our next round of videos. I've been on schedule this week. I'm very happy about that.